Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. Last episode we made planetfall on Kiava Gamma, and not soon thereafter got in our first fight. And we have found out about this person called the Fabricator Sensor. I pulled up the quest that we have for this particular area, and apparently his name is Cubus Delphim. And the quest says he poses a direct threat that is incompatible with the future operation of Kiava Gamma's Manufactorum. The optimal solution is to eliminate the Fabricator Sensor. So that is what we're going to be working on today. And we leveled up at the end of last episode and basically received some skill ups for our basic skills. For example, agility, weapon skills, things like that. Let's go ahead and press forward. Now, I'm not sure which direction we need to go. The enemy dudes came from here, and there appears to be something we can interact with. I want to make sure we're all on there, and let's see what happens. You can see how fragmented these platforms are, but at least we know where the elevator is. We need to tread carefully, very carefully. Nothing in here is going to be our friend, I have a feeling. So, let's make our way. Alright, we have a trap. Let's send Argenta to disarm it. She's our demolition person. I don't know if the tab key shows traps. It does not. But there is something over here. Okay, what are you doing? When I click on that, she runs over there. So maybe that's below us. Get back over here. So we will press on. Alright, here's some goods. We'll take those. Okay, there is lore warp here. Can't get to it. That must be on the other side as well. This is very confusing. Oh, okay, see, it's down there. Alright, this is going to be tricky. Blood mixed with machine oil is barely visible on the dark floor. We've got a steam thing happening here. Let's wait for it to go again. We don't want to get in the steam. As far as I know, yeah, scalding steam. That's not good. Oh, Lord. Okay. We've got a trap. What's wrong with Argenta? She's got an injury from a trap. Probably the steam. Got a steam, everybody. Oh, dear. That's not good. Okay, hopefully there's no steam here. Argenta, do you want to try again? Disarm this. Oh, she's not able to. She failed. Let's try again. There. Okay. Set up the ladder. Now see that is down there. That's not going to help us right now. Dark patches can be seen on the floor. They're smudged as though someone walked through them on the way to the footbridge. Okay. Lex Mechanic. Looks like we can talk to that person. So let's do that. A small, heavily augmented man in a filthy, tattered robe stands before you. As you approach, he hesitantly looks up at you, his eyes filled with horror. Portable inscriber with a keyboard hangs from straps at his front, and you can see his detached cerebral cogitator peeking out from under his hood. You have nothing to fear from us. Deus Mechanicus. The tech priest decides to take a better look at you, after which he lets out a ragged breath and manages to subdue his shaking. He heard my prayers. I thought I was alone in a kingdom of madness and depravity. Please save me. Oh. Heinrich, tell us who you are and what happened to you. I am Manufactorum, Lex Mechanic Zeta 86. I performed the rituals for the machine spirits of Foundry 95, up until we started going mad. Priests devoted to the Omnissiah suddenly started praising the dawn of something or other. They stopped the belts, and then they desecrated the visages of the sacred machines with unholy symbols. Some of them resisted. The others grabbed them, tied them up, and then they turned their implants to heresy. I saw the madmen, my former tech comrades, deliberately connect those poor souls to corrupted cogitators. I watched as they were infected with the scrap code. And did nothing to stop them. I am recording a violation of the commandment of thine own forge, be a true sentinel. Apostate Zeta 86, your access is hereby revoked. Proceed with your report. The icy rumble coming from Pascal's Vox causes the Lex Mechanic to lower his head in fear and contrition. How did you manage to avoid the same fate? I didn't avoid it. They performed the same procedure on me. I felt the touch of unholy code. I allowed it to control me. I abandoned my sacred post and followed one of the traitors, serving his will and gathering all the data for his blasphemous experiments. I was driven by an unholy impulse coming from the depths of my auxiliary cogitator, where the code had lodged itself. Before I found a way to throw off the compulsion, I witnessed horrifying heresy, the extraction of true flesh and its decomposition on altars. Perverse procedures that resulted in heretical abominations. I even accompanied a fallen Magos to the fabricator censor himself and attended the unholy mass he led personally. It was a wicked ritual, full of willful deviations and blatant inaccuracies. all to create an ungodly monster in the name of the final dawn. There's that group again. You mentioned someone imprisoned on the lower levels? The lay servants of the main units. They live in isolated segments under the sacred machine halls. I heard they were locked in there after the takeover. Then my crazed brethren changed the system for disposing of slag waste and covered the machines in cursed symbols. The Lex Mechanic hesitates. After they started the cogitator, they dragged the survivors out of the segments under the machine halls. Well, what the survivors had turned into. Oh. Heinrichs chimes in. You demonstrate exceptional powers of observation and recall for someone who just happened to survive. I am a Lex Mechanic. Gathering data is the purpose of my existence. That's even what they used me for. He trails off, belatedly understanding the subtext to the interrogator's words. They used me against my will. The scrap code turns everyone into their slave. Before I rid myself of the cogitator, I was forced to serve alongside those who perpetuated these atrocities and witnessed their obscenities. You mentioned a monster. Is that some kind of weapon? No. Not those constructs that are melted down in furnaces and sent to the depths of the Manufactorum. It's some kind of semblance of a cogitator. A nightmarish parody of a sacred machine, powered not by the omniscience grace, but by the unholy spirit and life force of the unfortunates imprisoned on the lower level. I don't know much, except that the fabricator sensor saw that machine was special. It was special to him and to the crazies who defiled the omniscience abode with their obscene blasphemy. For the final ritual, he even called upon one of the Astartes heretics who arrived after the start of the uprisings. He did something terrible, and only after that were they able to switch the machine on. It's a true abomination. Even standing near it is unbearable. I believe that even those who have been deprived of the omniscience grace still feel its influence on them. Its monstrous power utilized for unholy computations and chaotic calculations. Whatever that cogitator might spew out at the end of its cycle, no righteous soul should accept its heinous offering. Well, Heinrichs, what do you make of this? The interrogator tilts his head. Servant of the Omnissiah, I must know more. About the final dawn, the fabricator sensor, his mass, and about this machine as well. I could give you the coordinates, but even though I was present for many blasphemies committed by those heretics, all the details that were captured and processed by my true flesh are in the augmatic that was corrupted by the scrap code. I am convinced that if I hadn't fought off that foreign compulsion in time, I would have been doomed. The corruption would have spread to my biological cogitator as well. The Lex mechanic taps a finger on the device hanging from his ear on several wires. I swear no devout tech priest should come into contact with what's hidden in that once sacred device. Heinrich's expression shifts as he stares intently at the disconnected implant and the still intact connectors protruding under Lex Mechanic's collar. The corner of his mouth twitches involuntarily. Abelard notices the look on Heinrich's face, and once he does, he sighs heavily and looks away. Heinrichs, what are you thinking? Heinrichs does not speak for several seconds, gritting his teeth. Then, in a meditative tone, as though he's musing aloud, he addresses the Lex Mechanic. There may be a way to retrieve the cogitator's contents via another device. The Lex Mechanic shakes his head in reproach. Even if the very idea of exposing a holy machine to the scrap code wasn't profane in itself, my augmetics are not universally compatible. They cannot be connected to another machine spirit. They were created to interact with the system of my true flesh, to innervate my compulsor unit and output data. Once I am safe, I swear that I will immediately perform a cleansing rite and destroy... In other words, there's only one way to extract the data stored in the cogitator. What are you talking about? If we connect the cogitator to the augmetic system, the Lex Mechanic will serve as a conduit for transmitting data. We will learn the details even if they are incomplete. We will learn what he saw and heard, but is now unable to recall. The Lex Mechanic, who's been listening to your discussion in puzzlement, finally understands what's going to happen to him, and he begins to back away in fear. No, anything but that. I'll die. No, it'll be worse than that. I'll succumb to the corruption. I'm begging you, please. I'd rather be burned as a heretic than have that scrap code in my cogitator. At these words, Heinrich pauses for a fraction of a second, almost as if he's reconsidering. In failing to offer any resistance against the enemies of the Omnissiah, Unit Zeta 86 lost the grace of his machine rank and was recategorized as a resource of the Manufactorum. The defilement and torment of said resource, if committed to advance the struggle against heresy, will not be deemed an apostasy or malfaction against a living soul. Upon expiry of the unit's utility, disposal is recommended. All right, we have Iconoclast. So, Anya states, Heinrichs, stop. The leaders of the cult would never discuss anything of importance in front of witnesses. Leave the man alone. We need to know where the cogitator is. Even if the heretics' conversations are unimportant, I must know why the machine was so valuable to them. I'll tell you! The Lex Mechanic rummages in his ragged clothes until he produces a scrap of parchment. A different augmetic is responsible for my muscle memory. It has a data storage too. I remember where I walked and what I pressed with my fingers. Here are the coordinates. And the code is probably the code to the bay. He scratches out the numbers with his fingernail and passes the parchment to Heinrichs. Heinrich's eyes bore into the smaller man's. At last, having reached some conclusion, he turns to you. He is a subject of your world, Anya. It is for you to decide his fate. Okay. Let's see. We're not going to kill him, that's for sure. He has been tainted by corruption. I cannot allow him on my ship. He can seek out his own path to salvation. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope he doesn't turn up later on. That might have been a mistake. The Lex mechanic lets out a sob and hurries away. Heinrichs watches him go. Perhaps when Kiava Gamma is purged, he will find himself a place in the changed world, if he doesn't die before then. Let's go, Anya. We need to find that cogitator. All right, so, now we just need to find the cogitator. Let's go to the journal and see if there's anything new. Heinrichs possesses information about some of the plans of the cult of the Final Dawn, plans connected to the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. The future struggle against the cult will depend on the results of his search, which is the reason for his joining our retinue in the beginning. Ah, okay. So we have to do this. There's no choice. The other guy ran off in this direction. So before we go that way, though, we are going to continue. Here's some more goods that are locked. Let's attempt to open it. All right. Ooh, ballistic skill and 25 critical damage. Nice. So we're going to give these to her unless hers are better. She gains temporary wounds. Oh, those are nice though too. She needs all the defense she can get. Who else does a lot of ballistics? Not him. She does. We're going to give these to her. Oh. Here. Hopefully that will help her. But there isn't anything else to do over here. I don't know if there's any reason to come over here. So we're gonna go down. Can we go down there? Yes. Okay. Be careful, everyone. This is a crazy place. Okay, there's an athletics check. Well, we have to try. We made it. Okay. We've got some servitors that are dead. And a corrupted Magos. Nothing much else. Okay. Down we go. It's too quiet. What are you doing, Heinrichs? Okay, we can return to our void ship what did we do? Just go back? Oh no, somehow we made it back. We need to get over here. Oh. Well, we don't want to do this. Okay, back we go. We're over here now. Perhaps there's something we missed. That's down below that. Okay. Yeah, see, there's nowhere to go there. Okay. Aha! Let's click on this. But to get over there, here's an elevator. Let's take it. Now we can cross this way. Let's see what this is. The screen of this cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating technolingua. Staring at the obscure symbols gives you a headache. Well, what about Pascal? Can he read it? Nope. Same result. Okay. Let's press on. Ooh, hidden goods. We'll take it. Okay, there's another. Tech priest can divine the sacred knowledge. Right? We have an option to go over here. That looks important. Let's check it out. Oh, what the heck is that? Fabricator sensor Cubus Delphim. That's the dude. The massive Magos, clad in ritual garb, lets out a Binharic trill and turns to you. From beneath the deep hood of his mantle, two dimly lit eye implants gaze out at you. You hear another Binharic tirade, this time clearly addressed at you. What did you say? The fabricator states that the primitive creature, devoid of true knowledge. Could it be one of the slaves who escaped imprisonment? Kneel, servant, before the master of Kiava Gamma. Let's see. You propose that I, the rogue trader of the Von Valencia's line, kneel before you? Huh. I am giving you 5 minutes. No, not to beg forgiveness. To speak your last words and offer your final confession. You are one of the troglodytes who once had the gall to oppress my comrades and resist my will. A messenger from the barbarian who drank the sacred unguents bestowed upon her through others' toil? Very well. Your appearance is the perfect opportunity to teach your ilk
a lesson. My name is Cupidum. I once held the title of Fabricator Censor of Kiava Gamma Manufactorum, but I rejected it, along with the other fetters that hindered progress. Once my faith was flawed and led naive fools from the cult mechanicus into the darkness of ignorance. Now, I am this world's master and serve the true gods. You tread upon their territory, and you do not number among their legion servants. Therefore, you must be subject to immediate disposal.
Pascal. As the senior functioning member of the priesthood of Mars, I, Megos Explorator Pascal Hanuman, declare this temple to the machine god compromised, and forthwith forbid all service within it. I dethrone the Fabricator Censor, the ignorant heretic, and condemn as anathema any and all standard procedures implemented by him. Let the cycle of the blasphemous operations be discontinued. Pascal switches to Benharic, and you hear dissonance burgeoning in the depths of the Forge Cathedral. Some of the giant mechanisms heed his order and go still, while others, obeying the Fabricator Censor's will, continue their work. Crashes, explosions, and the clanging of crumpling metal signify that some dissent among the machines has interrupted the Manufactorum's production cycle.
Hanuman? Liar! You are not him. Demence Hanuman obeys me. His mind is open to the voices of the void, and the scrap code he created protects my world. I'll not have you, rusted refuse from the misfit case of explorators, call me ignorant.
Oh, he's getting mad.
This statement is false. Your regalia have been revoked. You have been deemed defective and will be eliminated.
Pascal turns to you and says dryly,
initiating heretic search. Designation, Demence Hanuman. I wish to execute the retribution procedure.
Oh. Well. Let's see, we've got a lot of options here. I'll do number 2. So, you have traded one master for another? I would have expected a Fabricator Censor to be smarter than that. The Fabricator Censor's vox lets out a piercing, barely audible sound that makes your insides shudder.
I will rip out your spinal column and braid it around my staff, you arrogant creature.
I think we're going to have to take him out. I usually prefer negotiating to fighting. Fighting destroys property and wastes resources. But, in your case, I'm afraid that extreme measures must be taken.
You may be driven by your will to fight, but know this. Kiava Gamma has already been converted. Its lines have been restructured, its servants already tasted the fruits of progress. In the crucibles of this Manufactorum, torrid liquid metals will be used to forge vessels for sacred spirits. The adepts are already tirelessly delving deeper. into new mysteries that were once barred. You, servants of fake gods, are too late. The entire might of this world will soon rise up against the anathema and his slaves.
Heinrichs, so many open admissions of heresy in so few sentences. Sister, how many death sentences would you say his words warrant? Argenta, I cannot answer that, Master Van Calyx. It is not my duty to measure the guilt of heretics. When the Adeptus Sororitas appeared before enemies of the Imperium, it is time to fire, not count. And now is one of those times. I think I'll do the first one because I gave him 5 minutes. Anya checks the chronometer. Your 5 minutes have passed. I hereby sentence you to death, and I will be the one to carry it out.
Comrades, purge the Manufactorum of any random variables. I must prepare for the culmination of our great work.
Is he gonna escape?
Cut the outsiders.
Alright, so we can't get to him just yet. But we are gonna have a fight. Alright, everybody. I think we're gonna leave the episode here and resume the fight next time. Please like and subscribe. I hope that you will join me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.